In life, the singer George Michael was outspoken and generous. In death, waves of mourning for the loss of his talent spread around the world. And in the weeks that followed, with the news that he had died suddenly on Christmas Day 2016, the focus for that international outpouring of grief settled on a small corner of North London, outside his former home. Within hours of the announcement of Michael's death at the age of 53, the front of the Grady-listed house in the exclusive Georgian terrace he had shared with celebrity neighbours Jamie Oliver and Jude Law was festooned with emotional tributes. Now, just over a year after the anniversary of that day, the future of the extraordinary, impromptu garden of remembrance opposite his home is dividing residents in Highgate. A colourful display of messages and acts of homage, the large shrine is threatening to become a permanent international tourist attraction in one of the city's most picturesque villages. A growing expanse of offerings, including flowers, candles, a guitar, an olive tree, photographs and poems, have spread out across the triangle of fenced land over the road from his house. Each day the garden, also part of Michael's estate, is visited by at least 20 of his fans from around the world. This winter, in the cold, wet days in the run-up to the anniversary of his death, many Christmas decorations and tokens of affection have blown over the street, despite careful tending by devoted fans, known as lovelies. This weekend, the chair of the Highgate Society Planning Committee said plans to replace the garden with a statue were problematic. Explaining that the issue was recently discussed at a society meeting, Elspeth Clements said, "We recognise there is considerable concern about the state of the current shrine among neighbours, but we felt this was not something that the Highgate Society could take up. There are no fixed plans for a fitting permanent tribute to George Michael at his North London home." Photograph, AFP, Getty Images. Speaking last month, Susan Rose, chair of the Highgate Conservation Area Advisory Committee, wondered what Michael would think of it all outside the beautiful home that he looked after so well, and right where he erected a wonderful Christmas tree every year. The stretch of houses that face the famous Flask pub are a key part of Highgate's unique architectural attractions. Once home to the laudanum-addicted poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the terrace and surrounding buildings have also been former homes for Sting, Annie Lennox, Kate Moss and the late Victoria Wood, and each is valued at between £5 million and £8 million. The question of a statue, proposed recently by a fan and supported online, would create new issues for the village. Clements added, "There have been, and still are, a number of prominent residents in Highgate and it is difficult to favour one individual over others. A blue plaque on the house would be a welcome tribute, in time, but we feel there are alternative and possibly better ways to mark his life now." George was a discreet philanthropist who gave much to Highgate in his life, and a more appropriate memorial could be in the form of a donation to one of the local charities, possibly as a named foundation, a bursary, she added. The plan for a statue, supported by a petition, has been put on hold since Michael's family indicated the singer would have found such a formal memorial embarrassing. Michael was a popular Highgate resident who contributed to local causes, including the Christmas lights along the High Street every year. Now, although fans also regularly place flowers at the site of his death in Goring-on-Thames, Oxfordshire, visitors to the London Garden outnumber those who pay their respects at Karl Marx's tomb in Highgate Cemetery. Fans inside the garden spoke this weekend of the value of having somewhere to express their sorrow and of their hopes for a permanent tribute. "I first came in January last year," said Vivian, 39, from Paris, placing pale pink roses by a large French tricolour. "It is very hard for me. I speak to people about him on Facebook, and this time I brought a flower from a friend in Portugal, too. It is a special place." Spaniard José Manuel, who lives in nearby Crouch End, had tears in his eyes. "We miss his personality, his music, his voice. It is a very sad thing. There should be a statue or some sort of memorial." Typical messages include one signed, Cheryl, UK, which thanks Michael for being a soundtrack to my life from my teens to my 40s, adding that she gave birth to her 3 children to his music. Between 4 pink Christmas trees there are simple slogans taken from Michael's song titles, "Faith" and "You Have Been Loved." At least 2 signs proclaim the lyric, "You put the boom, boom back in my heart." Among those who regularly tend the muddy garden, turning up at least twice a week, are a couple in their 50s who also lost a son last year. "We clear up the bits around the 4 group gardens, which are each run separately. We mainly clear up broken glass and tidy up after there has been bad weather. And there are 3 eternity lights we keep filled with oil," the wife said. Her husband added that, if they put down boards on the mud, or wood chippings, the grass would not grow back in the summer. Both agreed that Michael's family's decision about the garden will be final. We have had so much from his family over this year that I feel we need to do just what they want. The good thing is that our memories will not